The sun dipped low over the city as Captain Mark Walker navigated the evening traffic. His unmarked cruiser glided through the streets, its understated presence belying the rank and respect he had earned over 2 decades of service. Walker was a towering figure in the police force, known for his calm demeanor and relentless pursuit of justice. Yet tonight, he felt a pang of unease, a sensation he dismissed as fatigue from the day's challenges. Before we continue with this story, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Do not forget to turn on the notification bell for more intriguing stories. Thank you. The sharp wail of a siren pierced the air. Red and blue lights flashed in his rearview mirror. Walker frowned but complied, pulling his vehicle to the side of the road. A younger officer, pale-faced and stern, approached his window. Officer Jake Riley, a rookie officer assigned to Walker's precinct, but knew enough to have never met the captain in person. Riley was fresh from the academy, still trying to prove himself, idealistic but heavily influenced by prejudiced notions he hadn't yet confronted. His inexperience, however, came with an arrogance that masked deeper insecurities. License and registration, Riley demanded, his tone more assertive than necessary. Walker remained composed, handing over his documents. "Evening, officer. May I ask the reason for the stop?" Riley's gaze darted nervously. "Illegal lane change," he replied, though Walker immediately recognized the fabrication. "I see," Walker said calmly. "And what did you observe that led to that conclusion?" Riley bristled at the perceived challenge. "I don't need a lecture." "Step out of the vehicle, sir." Walker hesitated but complied, unwilling to escalate the situation. As he exited, he noticed the unease in Riley's stance, the twitch of his fingers near his holster. Walker's mind raced. He was no stranger to systemic bias or the dangers it could bring. This interaction was a powder keg, and the young officer's fear was the spark. Riley gestured toward the back of the SUV. "Pop the trunk." Walker raised an eyebrow. "Without probable cause, I'd have to decline." "What exactly are you looking for?" "Suspicious activity. We've had reports of narcotics being moved through vehicles matching your description." Walker's brow furrowed. "Narcotics?" He knew the claim was unfounded. "Officer, I'm Captain Mark Walker." "This is clearly a misunderstanding." Riley froze, momentarily flustered, but quickly recovered. "Badge or not, you're not above suspicion. Step out of the vehicle." "That badge doesn't put you above the law." "I never said it did," Walker replied, his voice steady. "But it does mean I understand the law better than most." Walker exhaled deeply, stepping out to avoid escalating the situation. As Riley frisked him, a small crowd began to gather. Walker's frustration grew as the rookie became increasingly aggressive in his questioning. When Riley demanded to search the vehicle, Walker declined. "Unless you have probable cause or a warrant, that's not happening." Riley's tone hardened. "Refusing to comply is only making you look guilty." Walker's patience thinned. "Officer Riley, I repeat, I'm Captain Mark Walker. I outrank you by several decades. I am not going to let you accuse me for what is not true, unless there's something you haven't yet made known to me." The tension thickened as a small crowd gathered, drawn by the flashing lights and raised voices. Riley's grip tightened on his belt, his fear palpable. Walker, sensing the danger, raised his hand slightly. "Easy, son. Let's not make this worse than it already is." Before Riley could respond, a voice broke through the crowd. "What's going on here?" Detective Isabella Diaz stepped forward, her badge glinting under the streetlights. She quickly assessed the situation, her sharp eyes narrowing at Riley. "Captain Walker? What's this about?" Relieved but composed, Walker explained the situation. "Apparently, I made an illegal lane change," Walker said, his tone laced with irony. Diaz turned to Riley, her expression hardening. "Officer, stand down. Now. Did you seriously just pull over your own precinct captain?" Riley hesitated but finally stepped back, his face flushed with embarrassment. He started to stammer. I didn't know. He fit the description. Diaz dismissed the crowd and instructed Riley to stand down. Captain, I'll make sure this is handled internally. Walker nodded but remained unsettled. The incident felt far too deliberate. He exhaled slowly, his pulse steadying. Thank you, Detective. Diaz nodded but looked troubled. Something doesn't add up here. The following day, Diaz reviewed Riley's report. What initially seemed like a rookie mistake revealed glaring inconsistencies. The accusation of narcotics possession had no basis, and there was no formal report of a matching vehicle. As Diaz dug deeper, she found troubling patterns. Certain officers, including Riley's training officer, had been falsifying reports to justify unlawful stops. These stops disproportionately targeted people of color and seemed designed to intimidate rather than enforce the law. Meanwhile, Walker, troubled by the encounter, began investigating independently. He reviewed complaints about discriminatory stops and discovered a network of rogue officers abusing their power. The deeper he delved, the more he realized this wasn't just about Riley, it was systemic. Diaz approached Walker with her findings, and the two teamed up. They identified a pattern of misconduct linked to a string of narcotics robberies. The rogue officers were not only harassing civilians but also stealing and reselling confiscated drugs. Riley, unaware of the conspiracy within his own unit, began to question his actions after his encounter with Walker. He sought out Walker to apologize, admitting he had acted on bias rather than evidence. Walker, though initially skeptical, saw potential in Riley's willingness to learn. "Your ignorance almost cost me my reputation," Walker said. "If you want to make this right, help us expose the real criminals in our ranks." Riley agreed, providing insider knowledge that helped Diaz and Walker uncover the extent of the corruption. The operation to bring down the rogue officers culminated in a sting led by Walker, Diaz, and a handful of trusted allies. The corrupt officers were caught red-handed, their network dismantled. Riley played a pivotal role, redeeming himself in Walker's eyes. Though he faced disciplinary action for his earlier conduct, his cooperation earned him a second chance. In the aftermath, Riley, who faced disciplinary action, was given a chance at redemption under Walker's mentorship. The experience humbled him, forcing him to confront his biases and rebuild his reputation. Riley, now assigned to community outreach programs, became a vocal advocate for change within the force. Walker, meanwhile, emerged as a hero, his integrity and leadership inspiring change within the department. At a community forum weeks later, Walker addressed a crowd of officers and civilians alike. "Justice isn't about power, it's about responsibility. We wear this badge to protect, not to divide. We've made mistakes, but today, we commit to doing better, for everyone we serve. And that starts with each of us holding ourselves accountable." The applause was deafening, but Walker's focus remained on the work ahead. Change was slow, but it was happening. And for the first time in years, he felt hope that the next generation of officers would carry the torch of integrity and justice higher than ever before. Was Officer Jake Riley doing the right thing? Share your thoughts in the comment section. Also tell us where you are watching from. And if you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and hit the subscribe button. Do not forget to turn on the notification bell for more inspiring stories.